It's over.
Oh no! Wanna rub my belly?
What's happening?
Rub!
Perrito's just so cute. You know, you meet those people that are just filled with this boundless energy and happiness, and it's exuding out of them that it's almost contagious, but it can be overwhelming so much that you're like, oh my God, this might be too much.
Rub! I need to practice. I'm gonna be a therapy dog someday.
What the hell are you talking about?
I'm glad you asked. When people feel bad, they can rub my belly. It'll make them feel better. Rub my belly.
No.
So wanting to be this therapy dog and to be able to have his belly rubbed, and that he truly believes that if anyone rubbed his belly, everything, it would just make the entire world feel better. Therapy animals really can be exceptionally helpful, but it isn't just rubbing their belly. They have to have the proper demeanor. They have to be able to handle pressure really well so that they stay calm even if there's loud noises. You don't want them to make fast movements or to get aggressive really quickly. They also should be animals that you can kind of pick up and squeeze and cuddle, that enjoy that, or at least will accept that. And then that allows the person that's going through distress to be able to kind of cuddle or hug or carry around as they need.
I don't want to touch your belly.
So, what do you want?
I want to be left alone.
You also want to be able to have that therapy animal be able to interpret what other people want, their feelings. And so a good therapy animal actually will notice if someone's feeling anxious and upset and already go to them. That's why there's a lot of different breeds of dogs that can do this really well. They can kind of sense other people's anxiety and then they'll kind of head towards them. I love that for Perrito, that when Puss says, no, I definitely don't want to rub your belly, he's okay. He doesn't get offended really easily. He assumes that everyone else has their best intentions at heart, and so he doesn't really take anything personally. That's a really nice positive personality trait, but it can be hard for other people to be able to take if they're not really used to that, because for a lot of people, they don't even believe that someone like that might exist.
Yeah, right. What's your deal anyway? You're wrong with the Chihuahua gang?
I don't think so.
I don't believe you.
That's okay, as long as you believe in yourself. What?
So cute. What a cute answer. I love it. Like, it's the perfect therapy dog answer because it's so true. Nothing else really does matter as long as you do believe in yourself. When Kitty kind of is going through this person can't even be real, I think that a lot of people feel that way. They feel that if someone is overly nice, right away their guard goes up, because that can't be possible. They must be being nice because they want something from me, or they're trying to be manipulative, or they're trying to take advantage of me. But there are people that are just internally so positive that they assume that everyone else is like them. And so it kind of overflows out of them and they can't really help it. But I can also get that that could sometimes be annoying for people, that no matter what time of day or what's happening, that they always have this positive spin to things.
Wait, what's going on with his eyes? Oh, they're getting bigger. Oh, Kitty! You gotta trust him. Look at those eyes.
When Kitty and Puss, they use their eyes, their cuteness, to actually try to manipulate people, not because they really mean it. But for Perrito, when he does something, he really does mean it. I guess you could say that he's overly naive. He believes and sees the best in people. He sees their potential. He also sees when Puss is putting on those eyes that, you know what, Kitty, you have to believe him because look at how cute he is. Something that cute couldn't be lying or manipulative.
Really? You call that cute?
Oh, look at her. Those eyes are even bigger than yours. Do whatever she wants, Puss.
He's so cute. You just want to squeeze him. He would make everyone feel better. But I love the way that he's like, yes, you have to do whatever. Now he switched sides. He's like, no, you do everything that she wants, because look at her. How could you even say no to her? And yes, it is true that people that lean towards being so positive and giving and those caretakers do have a greater chance of being taken advantage of, because they see the world through these rose-colored glasses that everything is unicorns and rainbows. So it is a wonderful way to see the world, but sometimes you need to kind of have that other side, that maybe not everything is exactly what you think it is.
Wait a second. So poofy! No! With the paws? Come on!
Oh yeah, no, the paws really were cute. I can't even.
With the
much, it's so much for him that he just can't handle it. A lot of super feelers, people that absorb other people's energy, that actually can happen to them. They can get so excited that they kind of short circuit, that they're not even paying attention to things, because they can get wrapped up in the emotions of the event, whether it be excitement or anger, because they can feel what other people are feeling and absorb that, which can be really good if it's happy feelings, but can also be really damaging if it's negativity or sadness. So you also want to monitor if you lean towards this personality trait or know someone that has it, that sometimes they can get a little bit overly wound up in the moment.
Mine says, we skip through the pocket full of posies.
What?
Then drift down the river of relaxation. That sounds fun.
Now, why does he get the good ones?
Wander the fields of quick and easy solutions.
This map that can tell your innermost feelings and wounds goes through areas of woe and incineration for Kitty and for Puss, because they're negative and they're mistrusting and they've been through so many terrible things that they're carrying all of this negativity within them. But for Perrito, because he has all of this positivity and joy and only sees the good in people, his map is sweet and calm, with roses and relaxation and being at peace with yourself. It is true, like the way that we see the world is reflected through our inner voice. It's kind of all of those little facets that we look through the world at will be shaped by our feelings and emotions and that inner dialogue that we have. So if we have really positive inner thoughts and it's happy inside of us, even if we go through difficult times, we're going to put a positive spin to it. Even if it's something that's horrible, it will be better than if we are negative and overly hard on ourselves. Now, I'm not going to say, though, being more nihilistic or negative doesn't have benefits also, though. When we're going through danger, if we're in an area that isn't safe, it can actually be a more adaptive thing to think twice not to trust and not to stay calm. And so these adaptive measures have kind of helped us be able to evolve. But if you live in a part in the world which is relatively safe and people are doing really well, it's actually healthier for us to be able to be much more positive. So for most of us, we probably need to work on our inner voice to make it more kind and loving. A little bit more Perrito.
Out of the way, demon flower!
Thank you.
Our inner voice, the way that we look at the world, whether we sense it as safe or not safe, it's going to color the way that we interact with things. So if you've been through a lot of hardship, right away you might come off a little bit more aggressive. And because of that, those that you're interacting with might interpret that aggressivity and also react aggressively. So sometimes the best way to be able to deal with a situation, especially a difficult one, might be through more peaceful, kind ways. And because Perrito sees the world as kind and sweet, he immediately interprets people's interactions as they must have the best intention for me. And so because of that, he's more warm and open. Again, depending on the situation, this can be good or bad. You want to be able to have both of these tools to be at your disposal. One or the other is probably going to end up leading you into more trouble than good.
I thought your path was supposed to be easy.
I think all you have to do is stop and smell the roses.
Seriously?
I think that a lot of times when we hear these therapeutic sentences, they kind of give us that feeling because we've seen them so much and they seem kind of cliche. But he's right. Like sometimes we need to just pause and appreciate where we are. We're often so much in this rat race trying to get ahead or finish things that we forget to be able to appreciate the moment that we're in. And mindfulness, a technique of living in the moment and really letting your body be able to sense it and feel it and slow everything down, can lower our levels of anxiety and lower feelings of depression and make us feel better. When you're really rushing through things, you don't actually know what's happening. Often whatever we were dealing with is over and we didn't really get any time to really memorize it. And that thinking about it and experiencing it is what kind of lets our brain interpret time as slower than faster. Don't know if any of that made sense to anyone, but it did to me. We'll find out. I don't know.
Like to play hide and seek, and I was always it. They put me in a sock and then throw me in a river. I gnawed a hole in the sock and I swam to the surface. Never found them.
But that's the thing, that sometimes when you're really naive and positive and you believe that everyone else must be like you, because we're kind of preset to think that everyone else goes through the same rule book that we do, that can make us end up being the person that ends up getting picked on or ends up getting hurt, because not everyone has such positive intent. And also, people that are bullies or have more malignant traits that like to take advantage of people will actually seek out people that are caregivers or thoughtful, the ones that will always say yes, and will use that to take advantage, to hurt, to manipulate, and find pleasure in tormenting that person. And so you want to be able to check yourself if you lean towards being really positive, or the caregiver, or the person that always says yes. Because of that, you might end up having animosity because you're always the one that's giving. And if other people aren't ever giving either, then it might be just a one-way relationship. So sometimes being positive and good can be a detriment because other people might use that against you.
That sock they put me in, I grew into it.
You, of all people, should have a wish.
I already have a comfy sweater and 2 best friends. I got everything I could wish for. No magic required.
And it's so hurtful to think of how Perrito's been abandoned, and that, all that he really wants is to be able to have this family, this place where he can feel safe and welcomed, and that he was kind of not only shunned, but really they tried to get rid of him in such a harsh way. He still looks at it as being kind of positive and sweet. You just want to kind of pick him up and protect him and keep him safe from the horrors of the world. But also for Perrito, he's going to have to be able to learn that not everyone has his best intent, and not everyone has the same mind frame as he does. Sometimes it's easier not to know. It hurts to be able to find out. If you've ever looked back on your life and had a different reflection on it and thought that someone was being kind and loving, but then end up finding out that they were actually trying to hurt or harm you, can be really devastating, kind of soul crushing. It's one of those things of cognitive dissonance. He has this cognitive dissonance. That's protection of a belief system that you want to have because all of your other beliefs are based on it. And so if you got rid of that one, then everything else would kind of crack and you'd have to reformulate everything. And that can be, even though healthy, can also be really hard. And we'll often try to do everything we can to protect that belief system so that we don't have to alter everything else that we've kind of based our life on.
But of course I trust you and Puss, even without the eyes.
Big mistake.
What do you mean? You're my friends.
You know what trust gets you? A sock, a rock, and a swim in the river.
And often our senses of trust happen in early childhood, depending on what you've been through. Did you have parents that made you feel safe and loved? Were you judged? Were you picked on in elementary school? Did you have teachers that were cruel to you or kind? And depending on those relationships and the things that we've went through, then we develop either a sense of feeling that the world is a safe place and I can trust people, or I can't really trust others, but maybe I can trust myself. Or perhaps you can't trust others and you can't trust yourself. And depending on those variables, you will end up creating your attachment type. You'll also develop the relationship that you'll have with other people.
You do have them.
Oi, you shut up, you little mutt, or I'll cut you from pooper to snooter.
I'm in the mix now. Okay, here we go. Younging grub, oafish, munching, mingy, nugget, and your snooter.
I like the cut of his jib.
He just wants to be a part of something. He wants to be a part of the group, and it doesn't really matter what the group is. He kind of fits in and just wants to have a place where he belongs. It's so necessary to us, especially for us as humans, because we needed the tribe to survive. So because of that, that sense of belonging and being a part of a group is really internal to us. Even if it's something like the phone that we use, or the sports team that we have, or where we live, or the languages that we speak, we make these little tiny in-groups that this is us, and out-groups, which is others. But that feeling of belonging to a place, having a family, having a place that no matter what, you're accepted, is really healing to us, especially if we've been hurt in the past.
Oh, I wish I had a family like this. Speaking from one orphan to another, Goldie, you won the orphan lottery.
Because he's so open and he just shares everything, you end up with these little tiny grains of wisdom that he can see how wonderful this family that Goldie has. Sometimes we need that reflection from someone else to be able to really appreciate things, because when you're in it, you don't often see it. It's just normal to you. It's every single day. And only when we have families of our own, or we look back on our life, or we see reflections of how other families are, can we look and go, oh, wait a second, I'm so lucky for the things that I have. Those affirmations of being able to appreciate are really healing also for our sense of anxiety and depression. And to be able to take a moment to really think and appreciate it. And I would say actually name it out to yourself. And a wonderful time to do this is right before you go to bed, so that you can kind of go to sleep with all of these positive thoughts, which will help you sleep more deeply, stay asleep more deeply, and have less nightmares. Anxious, anxiety, and worry thoughts increase our levels of anxiety in our brain, and then our brain goes through problem solving, which often happens through nightmares or disturbed sleep.
Thank you, Perrito.
I've only ever had one life. Sharing it with you and Kitty has made it pretty special. Maybe one life is enough.
And that's one of the things that Perrito kind of brings to the table. Because he's so positive and so appreciative of everything that comes, even if it's just a simple sweater, it can let everyone else know that, you know what, when we look back on our life, we're not going to be looking back going, I wish I had another car, or I wish I made more money, or I wish I gathered more stuff. It really will be about the people that I shared it with, those happy moments. And sometimes we get so lost in the rat race that we think that everything else that society has told us is important but it really is living those moments of laughter and happiness and joy, and creating those nice stories with the people that make us feel good and empowered and safe. If you're fascinated with discovering more about yourself, you can think about joining my sponsor, Skillshare, the community filled with creative and curious people, because it's a wonderful time to develop more of your own skills. I really enjoy the process of learning a new skill or developing a new understanding about myself and the world around me. And I'm more of a hands-on learner, and learning through watching someone else and interacting and engaging at the same time really does increase my enjoyment and also the recall of information. I've already done the class by Andy J. Pisa, who lays out 5 hands-on exercises to help you unlock your creative identity. Working in the medium of your choice, you'll explore who you are and what you have to say, and then put it all together in your own personal style guide. But Skillshare has so much more than any one class. It's an online learning community with thousands of inspiring classes for anyone who loves to explore new ideas or develop new skills for your career, your hobby, or even your own personal growth. Such as the course called Creative Confidence and Silencing Your Inner Critic, because can't we all benefit from being kinder and more supportive to ourselves? It's that one skill that you can give yourself that will last a lifetime. And because you're watching this video, the first 1,000 people to use the link will get 1 month free trial of Skillshare. So just click on that link in the description below and start exploring your creativity today. So those are my favorite Perrito moments. Let me know which ones yours are. And for me, he really just made the entire movie. He made me giggle so many times. So you can let me know your thoughts in the comments below.